Welcome, everybody. Nice to see everybody here. Just going to wait a moment just for people to sign into the room, get comfortable, and then we'll kick it off. So, if you don't have your bass or you don't have a phone nearby, definitely encourage you all to have your bass handy and to grab your phone and keep it at your side. Like I said, we'll get started in just a moment to let some last minute people in the room. In the meantime, I'm going to drink my rocket fuel. Yeah, chat is totally open, so you can feel free to chat with your fellow basemates throughout the webinar, and I'll be asking you some questions as well. For anyone who saw my webinar or my workshop last summer, you saw me spill my espresso all over my audio interface. Not going to do that again. I've learned my lesson. I'm keeping them separate. So, looks like the numbers have settled off, and might as well go for it. So, thank you for being here, everybody. This is really exciting for me. After a long week of really inspiring interviews, it's great to have this opportunity just to work one-on-one with all of you. Obviously, you're all committed and really curious musicians. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. So I'm happy to be on your journey, for at least this little bit in time. And I'm really thrilled to be able to dive into how we can apply a lot of the great principles that we've covered so far, to share some of the topics in my latest book, and to really help you stitch everything together to give you some new approaches for working on soloing. So yeah, it's going to be super fun. I see some of you already got on the chat, but I would love to know, where are you all tuning in from? I'm in Vienna, Austria, by way of Rochester, New York, and Buffalo, New York, originally, so quite a ways from home. But yeah, let me know where you're tuning in from. Portland, Oregon, Brussels, Appleton, Maine, DC. That's right, New Brunswick. I think NB means New Brunswick, Ithaca, Stockholm, Washington, north suburb of Chicago, Napa Valley, UK, the boonies of Chicagoland, Brooklyn, San Diego, UK, Iowa, Genova, Virginia Beach, Edgewater, New Jersey, Berkshire, England, St. Louis, Brussels, Gouda, Netherlands. I hope there's good cheese there. There has to be. College Station, Texas, Rochester. Hey, Bob, nice to see you. Italy, Monterey, California, Virginia, Phoenix, California, Bern, Switzerland. I used to live not too far from Bern and up in Basel. Denver, suburb, Brooklyn, Ireland. Let's see, St. Louis, Cortland, Ohio. Okay, there's a lot of good responses here, and I appreciate all of you being here. For the sake of time, I will kind of quickly scroll through, but it's amazing that we have quite the international audience. Last time I made a joke that no one from Australia or Hawaii would tune in because it was too late or too early, and people still did. So I will likely be shocked as I go through this list. So again, thank you all for being here. Really, truly a pleasure to be able to spend this time with you and just to share a little bit of my teaching universe and create some excitement and community around being really melodic bass soloists. So you will need your bass, at least for the first part. We're gonna just do a warm-up and do a little bit of playing, and then I'll kind of take you through my plan for not just today, but for the next 3 days. So grab your bass. I'll give you about 30 seconds to get yourself ready. Electric or upright, everything is totally welcome. Oh, and someone made a comment. Yes, if you're writing a comment in the chat, make sure that you select 2 panelists and attendees. and then everyone will be able to participate. Yeah, you're all on it anyways. So grab your bass, 30 seconds, and we'll hit it. Now, if anything is, like if my bass is too loud or my voice is not loud enough, just let me know and I can make adjustments over here. I'm using a separate mic for my bass. Jim, you do not need the bow. This is all just pizzicato. So I'm doing a separate mic for my bass and separate mic for my voice, so I can adjust them. So let's hit it. This is a super easy warm-up. You'll be able to join in even if you start after I begin. Now this is like my bass meditation. I have, well, for those of you who know my materials or have seen me teach before, I use this all the time. It's really wonderful. It's a great way to set your mind and really get connected to the instrument before we start diving into anything else. Again, it's meditative. It really gets us to focus on our sound, which is really one of the most important contributions we bring to the music. And I like the idea of 130 bass players around the world playing the same thing. We're just creating one big universal beat. So follow what I do. Really focus on making the articulation and the volume between each string the same. I know, but don't be shocked. right, thank you for that. Again, it's just a great way to focus on our sound, really just at being at the forefront of what we do. Really simple thing you can do every day, regardless of whether you play electric or upright bass. Again, just something that I do when I start off my routine. So take it, use it, adapt it, and enjoy it. Now, what I want to do before we really dive into, oh, and you can set your basses down, by the way. You don't have to hold them right next to you anymore. What I want to do is just talk a little bit about what it means to be a melodic soloist. Now, we've had such great conversations the last week about how to put our ears at the forefront of the learning process, how to really transcribe things, how to assimilate vocabulary, how to make it your own, and why it's important for bass players to be great soloists in addition to all of our other roles. So I want to hear your answers. How would you describe a melodic solo? What qualities does a melodic solo, or what qualities will a melodic solo contain? And just leave it there. And I'll keep my eyes on the chat. Well, Giovanni, Bob, and Georg, you're all in different parts of the world, but you must be sitting right next to each other because you all three said singable at the same moment. Oh, and Chad, singable, memorable, feeling and groove, clear, memorable phrases, linear, focuses on the target notes of the melody and the rhythm of the melody, good phrasing in space, flowing, catches the listener's imagination, tracks the motives of the melody, like a human voice. At least hear the melody of the song, yeah. Something you would sing and would make the person listening want to sing. I like that. Respect for the melody. Melodic solo equals intentional phrasing that builds one phrase to the next. Emotional narrative arc through the solo. Something that evokes the melody. Sense of direction, musical expression, lyrical, rhythmic interest, melody and guidelines. Not just doodling. Yeah, Stefan. Definitely, not just doodling. Likely using upper tones rather than figured bass. Okay, it will take your listeners on a journey, makes sense with the home of the tune, but takes them on an adventure. I like that. Clear grooving, bouncy. Yep. Some line that you wouldn't play in another context. Transcends vocab. Tension and release. The note has voice in addition to a pitch. Speaks from the heart. It makes musical sense. Yeah. These are all really wonderful, clear, straightforward explanations. I agree with all of you. Yeah, a melodic solo is, to me, it's singable. It communicates. It definitely has a bit more freedom than, let's say more rhythmic freedom than a bass solo. Or sorry, more rhythmic freedom than a bass line, excuse me. But yes, all of what you said, memorable, singable, it communicates with the listener, pays respect to the tune. And yeah, it's just it's a further expression of what we're able to do as musicians. It really gets to the heart of, to me, the heart of what it means to be musically expressive. Now, this may be a vulnerable question, and I know I'm putting you some of you on the spot, but how many of you feel confident in your ability to play the type of solo that you just described? And again, I understand this may be uncomfortable, but I appreciate you being open with the group. It's awesome that we're already starting to build a sense of community right away. So I won't read the answers out loud. I encourage you to go through and scroll through the list. But I'm seeing a pattern, or just seeing some consistency in the answers. One thing that I can see is that, again, everyone's being very, excuse me, very honest. And I think that's great. Again, the vulnerability contributes to a sense of community, and we can absolutely build these skills together. And I'm getting the sense that everyone is excited to work on it. Um, yeah, thank you, everybody. Well, uh, to be honest, like I haven't always felt comfortable playing solos. The journey for me was something that was filled with a lot of confusion and a lot of rejecting that I actually had to be able to take solos. And when I finally realized that I needed to get my chops up, not just my technical chops, but just my soloing chops and address it, I had to work through a lot of again, just a lot of stuff that had built up over the years. I can think of a story. This was in Buffalo, New York, in the middle of winter, just to set the stage. Super, super cold outside. It's always cold in Buffalo. But I was on a gig, and yeah, 10 years ago, I was on stage and I kept on waving off solos with the band. The band leader would ask me, "Do you want a solo?" And I said, "No." I was in a trio with, or no, in this case, it was a duo. I was in a duo with a trumpet player. Kept on asking me if I wanted a solo and wasn't really interested. And then he called Black Orpheus, a tune that I really didn't know that well. And I got asked if I wanted to solo, and I said no. And he looked at me and he said, "Too bad, you're soloing." And he walked off the stage and grabbed a beer at the bar and just kind of watched me. And that moment really sucked a lot. And when I think about my discomfort with soloing, I have that burned into my head as sort of a motivating factor because I was just up there alone and I felt like I wasn't confident in my ability to make music or to play something that was a continuation of the types of things I do when I'm walking, or I didn't have the tools in my back pocket. And up until that point, I felt like it wasn't necessarily my job because I've heard that over and over. If you're a bass player, it's not your job to solo. Otherwise, you should have been a guitarist. I'm sure we've all heard that before. And not that I necessarily bought into it, but I just went along with it. It's like, yeah, I'm going to work on all this other stuff. And I realized that I was actually doing myself a disservice by not addressing that part of being a musician, which is the ability to improvise, at least in my, to me, improvise melodic solos. And again, I had to stand against some of the baggage that I built up when I was working on it, and a lot of questions and confusion about what it means to play great solos. Now, fortunately, I addressed it, and as I worked on my soloing skills, my bass lines improved, my accompaniment improved, my ability to hear into what was happening in the music improved. I mean, if you're supporting other people and you can't necessarily recognize the type of vocabulary that they're playing, then how are you going to be your best, most supportive accompanist? So to me, working on soloing is not necessarily something that's about being flashy. It's really about something that addresses the core responsibilities of being a bass player and just being a musical person. Again, what I'm doing right now is even improvising and soloing, so to speak. And it's something that is really embedded in the fabric of being human. It's part of the human experience. So the sooner we can embrace it and step into it and realize how close, I mean, even a solo is to what we do when we walk bass lines. We're addressing the same harmonic information, a lot of the same rhythmic information, have to play with a great sense of time and sound and relatedness to the tune. It all comes from the same place. So that's why I'm really happy to see all of you here and to, again, step into this journey with me. Now, one thing I found along the way was that learning scales and memorizing patterns didn't necessarily translate into playing great solos. I went the theory route because I am a very scientific type of thinker. Everything can be very organized and categorized. And the scales told me what to play, but it didn't tell me how to play them or in what context they sound good or why they sound good or anything really about how to use them. And I got stuck in the thinking barrier with theory. It became like a really hard barrier for me to actually get through. And I'm sure many of us have probably been in a similar situation, not to cast assumptions, but I just know from experience that theory presents one avenue, but it can also really get us to turn off our ears in a lot of ways, which is, again, how we really step into playing great solos. One of the most amazing things, and this is what Josh Redman talked about, is that we have access to all of this music these days, and we can really get a lot of information from a lot of places. We're really fortunate to have a lot of recorded history in jazz music from which we can draw upon, and all this great technology that comes along with it. Like having Spotify or having the iReal Pro or even the RealBook. But what happens, again, is as we have this technology available to us, we end up turning off our ears because we have instant access to solutions that don't necessarily help us develop these long-term skills. If you were at my workshop last summer, then you know how I taught you all a tune by ear and gave you all permission to burn the RealBook. And this is in a similar vein. Again, what we're doing is talking about making music by ear and learning music by ear and getting rid of those things that may act as a step up, but really are a crutch and then become something that we can ultimately become dependent upon. So the other way to look at this is that we're also really fortunate to be in a time where the bass is taking a forward role in the music, right? We are no longer just playing really great bass lines, which again is, of course, that's one of our most important jobs. So please don't misconstrue what I'm saying. However, the music has evolved such that we do take more responsibility and we do have more of a forefront, or we are more in the forefront now. And when we play solos, pardon my French, but we want to kick ass at it. We really want to be comfortable and confident in it because that is almost expected of us. And we want to be able to step into that comfortably and do it in a way that continues to build upon our foundational musical skills. So it's a really wonderful time to be doing what we do, even despite COVID. I know that the gigs are scarce depending on where you're living, but the music has moved in such a direction where we can take more charge in what we do and what we have to say. And that's really exciting. So let's embrace it. And that's going to be the path that we go down for the next 3 days. So before we dive into anything else, I want you to grab your basses. And I told you that I was going to ask you to record yourself playing something. So get your bass, and then what I would recommend is to take out your cell phone. And at least on the iPhone, there is a voice recorder memo, or a voice memo app, excuse me, right? And you can actually just press the record button and it'll save what you play on there. Now, if you have something that's not an iPhone, sorry, I'm sucked into the Apple universe, but I'm sure Android has an app, or if you use like a Google phone, I'm sure there's something available to you there as well. Either way, get your recording device out. Now, if you don't have one, it's not a problem. I would still encourage you to do this next step with everybody. And you can play, and then I'll give you some alternative steps afterwards. But I'll give you 30 seconds to grab your phone, get your recording app ready, get your bass ready, and then we'll hit it. And I see, yeah, Zoom recorder is totally okay. Any recording device is totally fine. I'll give you another 10 seconds. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a backing track for you, and I want you to record yourself playing a solo over it. Now, the tune is Autumn Leaves, and I will I'll put the chord changes up for you because I know some of you may not know the tune so well. So what I'll do is I'll play one chorus of the backing track So you'll have one chance to listen to the tune in entirety, and then in the second chorus, you're going to play your solo. So you can actually record as soon as I start playing the backing track. I'll pipe it through your speakers. If you cannot record yourself playing, that's totally fine. Not a problem at all. You can still play your solo, and all I want you to do is afterwards just reflect on how it felt to play that solo. If you felt like you were able to play melodically, or what came up in your mind, what you were thinking about. So again, if you can't record, it's not a problem. I still want you to play your solo. So this solo is courtesy of the Jamie Aebersold play-alongs. I do have permission from the Aebersold company to stream this backing track, and they have an online streaming service for all of their backing tracks now, which I'll send a link to later on. It's really awesome. It's like $5 a month. So yeah, that's what I'm using here. So I will play the backing track for you. Again, from the beginning, you'll get one chorus to listen. When I start the backing track, I encourage you to record yourself. And then once we get to the second chorus, I'll give you a little cue. That's when you play your solo. Just one chorus. Oh, and the chord changes. Let me put those up there for you. Here we go. That should be everything. So from the beginning, play the backing track for you, and then on the second chorus, you'll take your solo, get your recording devices ready, and here we go. If it's too loud, by the way, let me know and I can adjust the volume. Here we go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2.
Here we go. Give you all applause. Nice. So you can stop your recordings. And if you didn't record, I still want you to participate the same way. How was that for you? How did it feel? Were you happy with what you played? Did you successfully play what you heard? It's open, but I would love for you to share your thoughts in the chat, regardless of if you recorded it or not. right, lots of different answers. I like this. Felt good, safe, good. Went off the rails when I was thinking about being hip. Yes, I totally understand that feeling. Good, I rock. Awesome. For me, it felt very good, only because I really know this tune. Okay. Good start, then got lost. Just a fancy bass line. I feel very good. Yeah, felt good. Some things were nice. Some late to the game. Felt good. I resorted to finding something on the bass versus playing what was in my head. Felt good, but just played scale tones. Not good, felt okay. Had good moments. Comfortable with this tune. Missed a few notes. Disastrous. Okay. Lockdown chops. Not fumbling. Most parts were okay. Hits and misses. Okay. Cool. Well, thank you everyone for being open about that. Now, if I was to make you do it again without the chord changes, would you have the same experience if it was solely by ear? Getting some mixed responses. No, maybe yes. No, yes. No, yes. No, might be better. Guess we will see. No, fine. I feel uncertain. Probably no. Might actually do better. Some of it. I see the frightened emoji. Yes, because I didn't look at them the first time. Nice. At the end, yes, 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 sure. Don't think so. The drum's really helping. Got it. So I'm not here to psych any of you out. I'm just curious because I wanted to put the chords up in case there were people who didn't know the tune so well. But again, mostly interested in seeing how we can develop our ear to guide what we play and not necessarily rely exclusively on what we see on the page, because that doesn't tell us what to play necessarily. And that's why we're here, because we're interested in developing our soloing abilities through our ears. So what I'm going to do is I'll play something for you too. And I have my backing track that unfortunately
Battery 80%.
I have to put through a Bluetooth speaker, because while I'm pretty tech savvy, I'm not necessarily able to figure out how to play with a backing track through my computer and play it live without any delay or latency on your end. So someday.
Cornelius MacBook Pro.
And okay, so I'm going to play my backing track, and then I'll just play a one chorus solo for you, something that I feel is melodic or hopefully accomplishes what we talked about. This is the end of the bridge. So, yes, Rick Weiss, you are right. I quoted Almost Like Being in Love. which is one of the great things you can do when you're playing a melodic solo. Um, so what my intention is definitely not to compare what I did to what you do, because we all have our own melodic solo voice. But this is the kind of solo that I'm really striving for when I am playing on gigs. I could play more chopsy, but this for me is thinking more like being a singer, actually trying to play really melodic phrases that don't require a lot of chops, but require really singable lines and a really great sense of sound. So I promised you I would talk to you about what we're doing for the next 3 days, so here we go. What I'm going to do right now is teach you that solo by ear. And I'm going to have you put your bass down, and we're going to do it exclusively by singing and listening repeatedly. Now, one of the things we talked about with absorbing vocabulary and absorbing solos is you can go measure by measure. You can write things down. But then you're stuck with the question of, what do I do with this now? And if you go through the process of listening to a solo numerous times till you can sing it back, then that doesn't even become a question, and you're ingraining all of those really fine details. So I'm going to teach you that solo by ear. Right now, no instrument, just using your voice, just using your ears. Then tomorrow, we're going to really take a deep dive into some of the qualities of this solo that you can apply to your playing, 2 or 3 in particular. And then on the third day, we're going to tie it all together and really figure out, again, what you like about it and how to take some of these ideas and transplant them into your solo voice. So again, we're doing all of this just by listening and singing, but you will be able to play it tomorrow on the bass, I promise you that. So how many of you, when you learn solos, do it away from the instrument? How many of you, if you're listening or let's say transcribing, whether you're learning tunes or solos, do it without the instrument or seldom with the instrument? Never, nope, mostly, yeah. Never, never, mostly, no. Half the time, almost never. I don't. I do it that way, right on. Steve. Hey, Steve. Martin, this will be my first. Right on. Never, sometimes, most of the time, sometimes, usually at the piano, no. Never try to learn a solo. Okay, well, this will be your first then. Nissa, yes. Always start without the bass. Seldom, seldom, no. Sing it and then play it. Right on. Never, in my mind, sometimes. Haven't done it away from the bass. Rarely, no. Do it at the piano, away. So I'm seeing mostly no's, sometimes yes. So this is not something that you need perfect pitch for. Again, we are really learning this in the way that we would learn a new language, which is just by immersion and repeated listening with focus on all of the details and the nuances entirely by ear. So again, no perfect pitch required. You can do this with a lot of solos. This is how I learn all of my tunes. This is how I learn all of the solos. I really just slow things down if I need to double check some of the details. But again, I learn tunes almost 100% of the time away from the chart, and I learn solos almost 100% of the time away from the instrument. Really just try to be able to embody it and sing it. There's no mystery to it. This is something that everybody can do. So if you haven't done this before, then welcome to the journey. And if you have, then I'm really excited to be able to support you as you're already diving deep into these details. So set your bass down. Put your notation paper away. Crank up your speakers if you need it. I would set my bass down, but I actually can't. So I'm hanging on to it, but I promise it's not a crutch. What we're going to do, I have this solo recorded. We are going to listen to it 2 to 3 times in its entirety. And the purpose is for you, again, just to take in the entire thing. When we learn things by ear, it's really important that we listen to it in its whole, then we listen to it in parts, and then we listen to it in its entirety again. whole part whole. That's just a way that we compare it to learning language. So when I teach anyone a tune or a solo or anything, it's always listening to it first to get a snapshot of what's going on, and then to parse it out phrase by phrase. So let's listen to it from the beginning. So this, of course, the session is being recorded, and once you go to the replay page, you'll be able to download a recording of the solo, and you'll be able to download the chord changes as well. So this will all be made available to you shortly after the session's over. So here we go. Here's the solo. Take a breather, rest your ears. And I want you again to listen and sing along with anything, even if it's just one note that you have in your ear. Now, everybody sing this pitch with me. Bum, bum. And I want you to repeat after me. Bum, bum, bum. Again, bum, bum, bum. 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 Bum, 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 bum. Now I want you to sing where home feels. Where does that tonic, that home feeling sound to you? Bum or bum. And this is a B flat. So I want you to repeat after me. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Ba, 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 ba. One more time. Bum, 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 bum. Ba, 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 bum. Ba, 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 ba. Let's sing it together. I know it's a bit fast. If you're only getting some of the notes, totally okay. Take your time. 1, 2, ready, and bum, 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 bum. Again. 1, 2, ready, and ba, 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 bum. So this is home, this is our B flat. Now it's in G minor as well. I'm just gonna set you off with the B flat, bum, 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 because you'll hear why. Familiar. All right, so again, sing the B flat, bum, 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 bum. So the solo starts on bum, bum, bum. That's our major 1 chord. So again, we can use our instrument to tell us that, or we can get a starting pitch and then be able to fill in the gaps on our own. So we're going to go phrase by phrase. And again, we're just going to repeat it over and over and over. And remember, this takes time to absorb. It's like a language. It may take you twice to listen to it and understand it. It may take you 10 times. That's okay. There's no set amount of repetitions that it should take you. And your progress is not contingent upon how someone else is doing. It's just solely your journey. So if you get this pretty quickly, then I encourage you to really listen deeply to some of the nuances and phrasing details. And if you're having trouble with some of the rhythms or the exact pitches, then just try and sing the overall gesture, the shape of the phrase, and then try to later on fill in some of those details. So here we go. We're going to go phrase by phrase. Again, that's the smallest amount that I would break down an idea that I'm listening to. Going any shorter than that is like trying to dissect the individual letters of a word, and it just doesn't make sense. We don't listen to things that way. So we're listening to the entire sentence as a whole. Bum. This is our starting pitch. Bum. If this is in your range, bum. So let's try the first part. Bum, 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 ba, ba, da. So let's sing that together. It starts on beat 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Ba, ba, bum, ba, boo, da. Again, and I'll conduct. It might look backwards to you, but it's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Bum, 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 ba, ba, da. Ba, ba, bum. So it's major triad. Bum, 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 ba, ba, ba. If you do solfege, it sounds like do, mi, sol, re, or 1, 3, 5, 3, 1, 2. Bum, 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 ba, ba, da, ba, 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 ba. And for whoever thought or heard that it's almost like being in love. That's it. So bum, 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 ba, ba, da. I'll sing this up the octaves. Ba, ba, da, 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 ba, ba, da. So bum, ba. This is our home. Ba, 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 da. So let's try and sing the phrase together, down tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Ba, 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 da. Ba, ba, da, 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 ba, ba, wa. I'll sing it one more time up the octave. It's just a bit low for me. Bum, 1, 2, 3, 4 with me. Bum, 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 ba, ba, da. Ba, ba, da, 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 boo, dum. And now let's listen again, but really get the length of the notes and the articulations. Everything's legato. Let's try it again. With me this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Bum 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 ba boo wah. Ba ba da 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 ba ba wah. And we'll listen to it. Yeah, so I'm going to play it for you twice, and I want you to just sing it alone. Or rather, without me. I want you to sing it just along with the recording. Sing do or sing home. Bum, this is our home. So we've got bum, bum, bye, ba, ba, da, ba, ba, da, 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 bum. Sing home. Bum, bum. So everything up to this point is all in the key. So again, there's nothing really too chromatic happening at the moment. Let's go on to the next phrase. I'm using transcribe software to make this possible. So here's the next phrase. Ooh. Let's check that out again. And I'll give you a little bit before that, just so you're familiar with the phrase. Again. Yeah, and Stefan asked, the first note of the second phrase is staccato. Exactly. So again, things that you may miss if you just focus on writing it down. So notes and phrasing is what we're going for. Ba. So repeat after me. We'll just go a little bit. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Ba 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 da be da ba ba ba. Again, this is a bit awkward because it kind of splits my range. I'll go up the octave. Bum. So 1, 2, 3. Ba bum. Ba da be da ba da ba bum. So this is our home right here, but it sounds like we're going to bum, the relative minor, bum, 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 bum. So repeat after me. Bum, 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 bum. I'll sing it up the octave. Bum, 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 bum. Again. Bum, 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 bum. Ba, 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 bum. Again. Ba, 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 bum. Ba, 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 bum. So we'll sing this again, chord by chord, and then the whole thing. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Ba, 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 bum. So let's sing it all together. 1, 2, ready, and ba, 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 bum. Where does home feel like to you? Bum. Again, relative minor. Can you sing the first home, the major? bum. So we had ba 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 bum bum. Ba 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 ba. Then you do bum bum or ba ba. So we're moving between the major and the relative minor. This next phrase, ba ba be da be da da ba bum, is in the relative minor. So that ba 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 feels a little bit different than if we were in the relative major. Just something I want to point out to you. If you know this already, great. And if this is your first exposure to this kind of way of contextualizing what you're hearing, then great. Georg asked, would G be do then in this section? I'm going to give you a quick answer that really requires a far longer response. In this case, I would think of B flat as do and G as la, and that's something I can dive into maybe through email or at a separate time. But the theory of solfege or philosophy of solfege has a lot of variables that are very personalized. So here's the second phrase again. Dee ba bum. So that sounds a little bit funky. Bum. This is our home momentarily. Bum bum. So you might recognize that note from bum 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 ba da. Famous Sam Jones bass line to Autumn Leaves. So that's the natural 6. So let's listen to the phrase one more time. I want you to sing along with it. Can you remember the first phrase? Let's sing the first 2 phrases alone without the music, and then you'll sing it with the music. So it starts bum bum or bum bum ba ba bo da 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 bo da. So let's try it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Ba 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 bo da ba ba dee 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 bo da ba bum be da ba da da bum. How many of you were able to do some of that from memory without the music? Right on. Yes, I'm loving these responses. Okay, now we're going to do it with the music, and you're going to sing along. I'll give you more. I'll give you the classic Aebersold count off. How's that? You ready? Oh, sorry. There's no count off. I cut off the beginning. Well, here you go. All right, let's move on to this next phrase. We extend that a little bit for you. Back to the first phrase. Ba ba or ba 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 ba. So that first note's not in the key. Bum ba da da. So if this is our home, bum 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 bum, and then you hear bum or ba 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 da da. We're momentarily making ba 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 ba, a return back to the 2 chord of the tune. If you can't hear that, no problem. Just one of those deeper details that we're getting by ear. So we got bum ba 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 ba. That's the starting pitch. Ba ba da da. Play it again. And one more time. So we'll sing it slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Ba 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 Buddha bum bottom. One more time. Ba ba. That's our starting pitch. 2, 3, 4, 1. Ba bum ba 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 beep ba 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 boda. So what does bum 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 sound like? Beep ba 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 ba. Just the one chord. Bum ba ba, and then ba 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 da ba beep bum wants to go to do. So we're just outlining the guide tones here. So I'll play the line for you. Actually, we'll sing it one more time together, and then you'll sing along with the recording. 2, 3, 4, 1. Ba bum ba 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 bum 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 ba Buddha. I want you to sing along with it. Oh. So there's that phrase. Now we're going to go to the next phrase. Ba Buddha. So that's the end of the phrase. So we've got and that might be a little bit tricky. We can slow it down if we need to. But we've got I added an extra note in there, and I created the solo. So again, this is a process. So we'll sing it slowly. Let's sing the whole phrase together. Sorry, I'll choose a more manageable octave. Bum bang ba da bum bing bum 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 ba boo ba ba da 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 ba. Just so we can get that timing. So we'll start ba da 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 ba. We'll start from there. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Ba da 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Again, part of my range that's not within reach, but this is a moment where slowing things down for the details is helpful. Ba 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 bum. Ba 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 bum. So you've got we'll start from there. It's 1, 2. So 1, 2. Bye, ba 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 bum bum. So let's sing that whole phrase together. Bum bye ba da ba. Or bum ba ba da da. Starts on beat 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Ba bye ba ba bum beat bye ba ba beat bo da ba da 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 bye ba 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 bum. And I'll play both phrases for you so you can sing along now without the recording, or without me rather. Up to tempo. Let's go from the very beginning. Bum, bum, bum. No recording, just sing along with me and get whatever you can. Starts on bum, bum, bum. So 1, 2. Bum, 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 ba, bo, da. Ba, ba, dee, 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 bo, da. Beep, bum, beep, ba, be, da, 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 dumped. Ba 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 da dum be bum ba dum ba bo da ba da 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 ba 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 bum. You'll notice that I have to change octaves sometimes just because it's really split in my vocal range. But how was that for you? That's the first half of the solo. How are you doing? Were you able to sing it with me without the recording? Nearly made it. Some. Okay. Again, this really takes time to absorb. This is not something that we can do, just immediately after doing it once. Like this is something that I still work on, people, every day. I'm always working on my ears. I'm always working on these types of things. So again, this is a long-term dedication, and I'm just appreciative for all of you being willing to try this and seeing that it's possible for you. So take a little drink of water if you need it. Calm those vocal cords. And we're going to get to the last half of the solo. We might move through this a bit quickly just because, out of respect for your time, I don't want to keep you past what we said we would get into. But here we go. So ba 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 ba. I'll give you a little bit of the last phrase. Here's the next phrase. Lots of repetition. I like repetition. Here we go. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Ba 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 do ba dee dum. So a little bit of a variation. 1. Ba 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 bum. Ba 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 be dum. I like my pentatonics. They sound good. So I'll play this for you and sing along with it. Here we go. 1. Now sing it with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 be bum. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 beep bum. And again, we're dealing with ba 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 bum. Ba 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 beep bum. All pentatonics. So, play it one more time for you. I know I keep missing that. Here we go. So that's the first phrase. Now we'll get to the next phrase. Let me get this loaded up. So this is the part that's probably most complicated about the solo, leaning into this. So here we go. Check it out. Again, it's a bit funky rhythmically. So the first part, ba ba da 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 ba, starts on beat 2. 1, ba ba. Sorry, 1, ba ba da 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 da. Let's sing just that part together. 2, 3, 4, 1. Ba ba da 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 da. And then be da 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 dee da 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 da. Can you sing where home is? Do you have it in your ear? Bum bum. This is our B flat. Ba da 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 dum. Bum bum ba 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 da. But we'll listen to it just because. So ba da 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 ba da beam bum ba 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 da. That's funky. Let me slow that down. Just a bit. Boom beep bum ba 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 da. So there's a little bit of a cross rhythm happening. Let's sing that phrase together. Ba ba da 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 ba. Starts on beat 2. 2, 3, 4, 1. Ba ba da 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 ba. Be da 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 ba dum. Be ba 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 da. Now let's sing the last 2 phrases together. Ba 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 ba. So it's ba 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 ba. So we're on bum ba ba bum, and it starts to ba 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 bum, and then so it's a 1 measure pickup to the bridge. I'm setting you up again all by ear, and the first chord of the bridge is ba 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 bum, so you can really center your ear. So here's the pickup. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 bee bum. Ba ba da 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 bum. Be da 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 be ba da be ba ba be ba da. Apologies again for my conducting. It helps me when I'm working out rhythms. It may be more distracting for you. I'm going to bring the recording back to E and back to, I have it marked here as E, back to the bridge and have you sing along with that phrase. And I'll go a little bit further back. Here's a pickup to the bridge. almost at the end, but I want to go back to the very beginning and sing what we learned so far. Bum, bum, bum. From there. I'm going to change ranges. You can do the same to accommodate your vocal range. And I won't conduct in the screen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Bum, 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 ba, bo, da. Ba, ba, dee, 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 da, bo, dum. Ba, 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 be, ba, da, bo, bo. Bum, bum, ba, da, bum, be, ba, da, da, ba, bo, da. Ba da 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 da. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 da ba dee da. Ba da da. Sorry. We'll do it together from ba 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 ba. We'll take it from the bridge. My apologies. If you had it, if you were on that train and it kept on going, good for you. Actually, no, let's do it from the beginning. It's way better to go through it again than to just chop it in. So we'll start ba ba bum. One. I'll give you 2 beats. 1, 2. Ba 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 da. Ba ba dee 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 da ba da. Ba bum ba ya da na na bum. Ba 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 da da be da na na ba bo da ba da 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 bum. Ba 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 bo da da bo da da. Ba 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 da bo da da bo da da. Ba 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 da bo do ba dee dum. Ba ba da ba ya ba. Be da 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 dee da do dee da da be ba dum. So I messed up one of the rhythms on the bridge, which I would go back and address. So let's go to the last phrases. We got just a few minutes left, but we can do it. We can learn this whole thing. So that's the first kind of bebop phrase that we had in there. So, bo beep 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 ba 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 beep da. I'll do this up the octave. Beep ba 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 beep. So let's sing that part together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Beep beep ba 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 da. One more time. 2, 3, 4. Beep beep ba 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 da. And we'll check out that lick. Ba da ba 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 beat. So it sounds like ba 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 G minor, be da ba beep C7. Ba 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 ba. Be da 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 beam. So da ba 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 be ba da 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 dee. Let's sing that part together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Beep beep ba 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 be ba da 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 dee. Slowly again. Ba da 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 ba dum beep. And then the next part. Da da ba 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 ba. This is a B flat. flat 7. So that sounds to my ear like the flat 9. Ma da 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 beep ba 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 bum. That so ba da 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 dee da da ba ba. Sounds to me like whoever played this solo used an upper structure triad. And then I quoted, I quoted the solo, or I quoted the melody at the end of that solo. So let's try that together. From that line, 3, 4. Bum, 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 bye. Ba da da bo bo do dee. Ba da ba da da dee. Ba da bo bo. There was not enough clarity in there. Ba ba da 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 dee ba 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 bum. Ba da 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 dee da da da. So let's sing that line together again. From there, 3, 4. Ba 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 ba. Ba da 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 do beep. Ba da 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 dee ba da ba do be do do. Beep bo dum. Let's check that last little bit out. Bo be do dum. Be bo. Okay. Let's sing this phrase and part of the last phrase. We'll sing that phrase together, which starts on B2. And stitch the whole ending together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Sorry for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Ba ba da 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 da. Be da 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 be ba da be bun ba da ba da ba 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 be ba da 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 do be ba da 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 dee da da ba do be da dum. Beep boom bum bo bo ba 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 bum. Sorry, that was just for me. So, I just want to take a moment to congratulate you all because we made it through a solo by ear without the instrument in the allotted time for today. Now, you're not off the hook yet. We're going to sing it once without the music, and then you're going to sing it with the music. Bum, bum, bum. That's where we start. Bum, bum, bum. Everyone sing Home for me. Bum, bum. Here we go. 1, 2. Bum, bum. Or sorry, I'm going to go up the octave. I need to give myself a fighting chance here. Bum. Here we go. 1, 2. Bum, bum, bye, ba, ba, da. Ba ba dee 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 boo dum. Ba bum ba ba be da da dum bumped. Bo bum ba da bum. Ba bum 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 ba bo da ba da 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 do. Up the octave. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 do ba dee dum. Ba ba da ba bum. Be da 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 ba dum. Be na da dee ba da ba 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 be. Ba da 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 do beep. Ba do ba da da dee ba da ba do be dum. And now you'll sing it with the recording. So again, congratulations to all of you for going through that process with me, especially if it was your first time. And if it wasn't, then great. Again, I'm happy to be on this journey with you, just reinforcing the fact that playing and learning by ear is the way to step into our soloing capabilities. Now, again, this takes time, right? It's not, every solo won't take you 30 minutes. It might take you a month to learn a solo this way by ear. But again, the purpose is to really, really, really invest dedication and time every day into these types of skills. Now, to prepare for tomorrow, what I would love for you to do is take a break, like go for a walk, drink some water, rest your voice, and then later on in the day, I would love for you to listen to this again and take about 20 minutes to really sing along with it. Don't use your bass and do not write anything down. You can get a starting pitch. You're granted one starting pitch from the bass or from the keyboard, a B flat. But again, don't rely on the instrument. You are the instrument, not this. You carry your musicianship with you and you bring it to the bass. So the bass doesn't give you the answers. You're telling it what to do. So remember that. You're working on your internal instrument and really developing your ears. Tomorrow, what we're going to do is we're going to dive into some of the specific details of this solo that you can take and use and really make a part of your voice. I'm going to show you how a solo was really similar to a bass line. And again, just dive into some of these really micro details that are very applicable and very transferable to your playing, things you can start using immediately. And we're also going to put it on the instrument, and you're going to see how easy it is to really learn things on the bass without actually using the instrument. You're going to be amazed at how quickly you're able to put it on the instrument and not, again, by the process of just slowing things down and really hammering it away. You're going to come to the instrument with your ears fully charged. You're going to be able to put it on the bass, and we're going to dive right in to the things that make this solo unique and how you can transfer that to your playing. Again, I really appreciate all of your vulnerability, really being willing to go for it. It's super exciting for me. And in one word, just one word, maybe two words, how are you all feeling right now? Let me know. What's the, how are you feeling in this moment? Empowered, grateful, tired. Yeah, this is a workout. This is totally a mental workout. Inspired and equipped. All ears. Yeah, Bob. Inspired, feeling funky, humbling and happy. Good, inspired, stoked. Inspired, beginning hungry, on the journey, enthused, exhausted. Feeling herzlichen Dank, bis morgen servus. Franz, you're appealing to my somewhat German-speaking heart. Also, for those of you who are like, thinking, oh, I can't do this, like this is, learning a language, it's so hard. I've been learning German this way, actually, for the last year and a half living in Austria, really just trying to do everything by ear. So I am, in many ways, not just on the bass on this journey with you as a fellow traveler, but also modeling this in parallel parts of my life. Spring, feel like a door is being opened. Feeling great. Need beer. You may need a drink after this, but I'm not condoning that. This is awesome. Inspired, tired, encouraged, groovy, empowered, inspired, good, good. Ready to hit the road as a scat singer. There you go. Excited, inspired, challenged, extremely confident. Right. Cool, but my ears are full. Yeah. So Rick, if your ears are full, then definitely take a break. Come back to this solo. Again, you'll be able to download this solo. I'll send you all the replay links. You'll be able to download the solo and check this out. But give yourself a break. Go for a walk, and spend time later in the day, before tomorrow, doing some really focused listening. Isn't it amazing how tired you can be when you're not just listening at music, but really diving into all of those subtle details? It's like being in a conversation with someone, and you know that if you're in conversation with someone and their eyes glaze over, they're not really speaking with them. It's not very fun. So this is like being really deeply engaged in conversation and being exhausted because it's so mentally stimulating. And eventually you build up the tolerance and the endurance to be able to do it for a longer period of time, to really listen in with a high level of focus. And then you're never going to be able to turn it off. There's going to be no other way. Or I'll say it this way. You won't be able to unhear these things. You won't be able to let go of those details now. It's really, that for me is so gratifying as part of the process. So I will see you all tomorrow. Giovanni was asking how I slow the transcription. So I use Transcribe. The software is called Transcribe, to slow things down. Usually I go maybe 70% for certain things that are tough. But again, I encourage all of you just to listen to this as a whole, or go phrase by phrase as we did on repeat if you need some of those details. Now, we'll meet again tomorrow, same time. And I know some of you may have questions, but I really encourage you to sit with this for a day, hang on to those questions, and see if any of them are answered by really diving into this process. Again, I'm here for you, more than happy to answer anything that may be confusing, but I want to give you the skills to really develop this independently. So sit with it for a day, work on all of this. Hop over the Facebook group if you haven't been there yet, because we're going to have some great conversations in there. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to share this. So if you are in the Facebook group, I'm giving away some prizes there for participation. And I've got a special grand prize that I'm giving away on Wednesday, where for people who post in the group Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday will be eligible for a free set of D'Addario strings, any kind you want. So more reason to jump into the Facebook group. It's only available for the Facebook group. But again, the purpose is to really build a sense of community and camaraderie. And yeah, so anyways, just, if you're not there yet and you're looking to join, then all the more reason to. So thank you, everybody. I'm so grateful to have this time with you. Such a fun way to finish out the interview series and to start the beginning of our 3-day workshop. So again, thank you. See you all tomorrow. Hopefully see you in the Facebook group. Look out for an email with the recordings from today, the whole workshop, and the individual solos. Best of luck. And yeah, I will see you all very, very soon in 22 and a half hours to be exact. Bye, everybody.